Okay, so one exercise you can do to help out your press handstands is pike presses on the stability ball. This exercise has a lot of different names. I just call it pike press. So one thing is if you need a little bit of assistance, put the ball on your thighs. Don't ever put the ball on your knees. Okay, that's not good for your knees. If you want to make it harder, go shins, or you can go on your ankles. So I like to put my feet on first when you get in the plank, easiest way. Other way to get on the ball is you can just basically roll into it, whatever works for you. So you're gonna be in a push-up position, your shoulders underneath your wrists underneath your shoulders, and you're gonna lift your hips up in a pike, trying to get your hips over your shoulders and coming back down. So again, if I need a little bit more help, going on my thighs, piking it up, and down. You can even tuck your legs to make it easier. So tucking up and down, focusing on getting your hips over your shoulders. And then you want to slowly come out. Up. Sometimes you can kind of lift off the ball and come back out. That one's really good for that deep compression on feeling that position when you do your press handstands. So another exercise you can do for press handstands to build your shoulder strength is, again, a lot of different names for exercises. Stallion plank or plunge rocks. So again, using the stability ball, just gonna roll out. Again, getting my shoulders over my wrist. And so one thing too is you can turn your hand open so your wrists are rocking in between your finger and your thumb. So holding that nice tight position, rocking forward and back, forward and back. And depending on your strength, depends on your range of motion. But again, you can go ball on your thighs and rock back and forth. It's gonna make it a little bit easier. Back and forth. You can even go out and hold and come back. So the next exercise you can do is pretty much the same thing that we did on the exercise ball, but with gliders or sliders, depending on what you want to call them. The difference between it is if you're up on the stability ball, it tends to put a little bit more of a load on your shoulders, so it makes that aspect harder, but it makes the lift to try and get your hips over your shoulders easier. Because you're on an elevated surface and getting it up there is a little bit easier. So with the sliders, it's a little bit harder getting that lift, but it's a little bit easier on your shoulders. So again, getting into that push-up or plank position. You don't have to start pointed, you can go flexed if you want. So again, lifting, trying to get hips up, and then coming back out. And lifting up, and coming back out. And then two, turning your hands out and you can rock back and forth. Exercise you can do to help your press handstands uses parallettes or anything that can raise the surface a little bit for you. We're gonna do isometric holds. So isometric means you are contracting the muscle, but you're not lengthening it or shortening it. So putting this right underneath, we're gonna do an L lift. So lifting, holding, squeezing. So with that, you want to kind of hold as much as you can, not moving, just nice and tight. You can also do an L hold. So having your hands in front of your legs, coming out.
Straddle.
Holding. Straddle. So another exercise you can use the slider and the parallettes with is it's like a reverse plank to pike lift. So weird names, but I'll say it. So pressing up, you're gonna extend through the hips and the shoulders, come back and lift through the lower back. So extend and lift, extend and lift. And that one is a lot of fun, but it's really good for that press feel that on the very first part of the press handstands. Another exercise you can do to help with press handstands are press walks. So you want to stand in a straddle, having your hands where you would normally have them in a handstand. And the goal of this is to do this slow and controlled. So you want to press through and step forward. So again, trying to get that lean and lift in it. So pressing, lift, controlled. Pressing, lift, controlled. So if you have a long hallway, you can do it down the hallway, or you can go back and forth in a small little spot. The exercise you can do to help build that lift strength is using an elevated surface. So you can use, we're using the beams, but you can use the back of the couch, you can use the countertop in the kitchen, you can use your pole. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go up to front support, okay? So as you can see, I'm already leaning forward, so what I'm gonna try and do is lift my hips up, and you can come back down. Okay, lift up and down. So the higher you go, the better. So the stronger you are, try and keep lifting those hips up and then bringing it back down, just up and down, okay? Another exercise to get a lot of reps in to really, really strengthen the muscles that you need are pike and straddle lifts. So when you do these, you can go up on your fingers. You want a nice straight back, and the easier it gets is if your hands are closer to your feet. It's harder if you have it closer here, but the trick is you can't hunch and you can't lean back. Lean back is it's a cheat, so don't cheat. But keeping it straight, I like to put them at my knees. So nice tight legs, lift, lift, lift. If you can, try not to let your feet touch. Okay, so again, making it a little bit easier. Well, that's actually a little bit harder going out. But here, if you need a little bit of help, you can lean back here, or you can bend to pick it up. So the other thing too is straddles. So straddles, you're gonna bring your hands on the inside, okay? Different ways you can do this. You can go one leg at a time, okay? You can put an object here and you can go up and over it, or you can do both going here, but keeping back straight. Try not to lean back. Try and keep it nice and straight, legs tight, but that's gonna get all up in here on what you need when you lift your press, or when you come back down as well. Okay, so some stretches that you can do to help with your flexibility with press handstands. So the first one is gonna be your pancake. So you're not in a middle split. A lot of girls who are really flexible like to push it out. You wanna keep an angle, okay? Pushing through your knees, pointing your toes. And also, true pancake is reaching the middle as far as you can. And the thing is too, is you don't wanna round. You wanna keep your back flat because it's gonna push your hips forward. Keeping it here, trying to take belly down to the ground. And trick two with the younger kids, they tend to roll their knees in when they do pancakes. So trying to keep them knees to the sky, toes up as you rotate in. Another good stretch to help is gonna be a butterfly stretch. So don't bounce because it's not good. You wanna keep your feet here. So you can get your hands on your feet, push with your elbows to push your legs down. Some people are really up here, so here, pushing down. Another variation to the butterfly stretch is to elongate it. It just stretches a little bit differently. So in here. Third stretch is gonna be a pike. So one thing that I like to teach a lot of my gymnasts is not to flex your feet because that pulls on your sciatic nerve. So you wanna point or just have your feet kind of relaxed. But again, pushing through your knees, keeping your back flat, leaning your tummy on your thighs and going straight down, okay? So last exercise or stretch that you can do to help out is gonna be your middle splits. Middles can be really intense. So one kind of modification is the frog stretch. So I like to do on a line so you're straight. So heels to knees to hips here, going down. Just a way to kind of ease your way into your middles if you don't really have very good flexibility yet. But then when you go on middles, I always like to go on a line to make sure I'm straight. You can go on your elbows, but technically you'd like to go down as low as you can. Arms in a T, squeezing legs straight, pointing toes. So if you were to take your press handstand through a stretch, this is how you would start. Hands on the floor, feet on the floor, pressing through. So this is why we teach pancake through the middle. So it goes from here. So I'd press up, lift my hips through the middles into a handstand. Okay, so that's the reason why we want to work that, because the better flexibility you have, it makes the skill a lot easier.